Hello, everybody. This is Carl Douglas, Home Based Business Review. I have a special guest with me who's a master at speaking and coaching. Daniel Kump, how you doing, buddy?
If I'd be, yeah, if I was any better, I'd be two people, man. So I'm good. I'm good. Having
You
fun,
know what?
working from home, helping people, and
Yes,
enjoying the beautiful weather here in Myrtle Beach.
yes. Daniel, we've been knowing each other for a few years now. We watch each other grow no matter what direction we went. Family, business, friendships, helping people. And matter of fact, helping people is what we're going to talk about right now. The question I have, Daniel, for you is tell me, do you notice a lot of people are struggling out there in business? I know we talked about this before, and you started on humble beginnings. You like everybody else. You didn't have a silver spoon in your mouth. You just had that case. I want to have it. You
Mhm.
had not just the burning desire. You were not just thirsty. You were starving. Am I correct?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things to unpack with what you just said. So I mean, we can kind of take it one step at a time. But there's a
Mhm.
lot of people out there right now that want more, but there's so many distractions, and throughout today's interview here, I'll try to drill it all the way down to a couple of finite things just to make it simple for people to understand the kind of same process that I went through over the years. But yeah, there is a lot of struggle out there. But at the end of the day, like there doesn't have to be struggle. I think people, kind of almost in a weird way seek the struggle out because that's what they're used to. That's what society and news and media and everything around us just kind of allows us to do. And there's a lot of distractions out there where, on one hand, it's easier to say that I can't figure it out, I can't do it, I don't know how, I don't know where to start, I don't have the money. They're all just excuses. It's easier to just reach into your pocket and grab those excuses versus versus actually doing it. And we as human beings, we're addicted to being right. This is just basic psychology 101 here. We're addicted to being right. People want to be validated for what they're saying out loud. I those things don't work. I struggled. I'm always broke. I have too much debt. Oh, you're so right. It's so hard out there these days. That's what people want to hear. They want to be validated for what they're going through. And right now today, depending on when you watch or listen to this, it's so easy to do that. And that's kind of the vicious cycle or hamster wheel that people get stuck in, is just kind of going round and around doing the same thing, trying to be validated and verified for the struggle that they're in. But there is a way out. And the crazy part is it's literally right in front of you. But sometimes people, they don't want to see it because it's easier to be on one, like you guys always see those memes on social media where it's like, you see the fork in the road and you have two paths you can go down. Like one is all Skittles and rainbows, the other one is, trial and struggle and, putting in the effort. So everyone just goes down the easier path. But it can be done. I mean, I'm living proof. Thousands of people that I've worked with over the years are living proof that it can be done if you want it.
Daniel, let's talk about you are living proof, but for those who don't know you right now, tell me what was one of the number one struggles that you had when you first started?
The biggest aha moment for me, um, was realizing what I actually had to do every single day. And I refer to these as IPAs, not the
Okay.
beer, although I do like beer, but income producing activities. IPA,
Ooh.
income producing activity. I didn't know what they were. I didn't know, when I got my start online, I thought by just signing up for something and just having a link that people were going to magically go to it. It would just somehow appear in a Google search, and people would find my link, and I would just make money. I was under that impression. I think that a lot of people are under that impression that if they just sign up for something, they're just going to start making money. But in order for people to go to your specific link, you have to advertise what you're doing. You have to show people what you're doing. And it took me pretty much about a year to figure that out, to figure out what specifically those income producing activities actually are. And there was an acronym that I learned back after about a year of literally just struggling and signing up for everything. I mean, my first year online, I probably signed up for 24 different business opportunities, 24 different ways to make money online. I maybe made a couple of $100 because I got lucky, just by throwing enough mud against the wall. But I
Yes.
learned a specific acronym that literally changed my life at the end of those 12 months of struggling and not realizing what the heck I was doing. And that was ILT. So, and I might use a lot of acronyms here today because that's what I've just kind of like learned, and it's easy to teach and understand when you kind of see it and hear it. But ILT was invest, learn, teach. You invest your time, sometimes money, you learn something, and then you turn around and teach that to other people. So when I heard that, like, it was just one of those moments where the light bulb went off, the aha moment, like, oh, wait, I think I get it now, and I started applying that to myself and my brand and what I was doing at the time. So I would invest my time, sometimes money. You can see, for those of you guys that are watching here, you can see over the shoulder, like all the books that I have on my bookcase. They're not just there for decorations. Like, I've actually read those. I've invested into myself. I've invested into products, services, coaching, courses, all of those things. I learn things, and then I turn around and I teach that to other people. After learning that, after applying that, at the end of my first year online, within months, I started making thousands of dollars per month. And then within 6 months of applying that, I had my first 5-figure month. So, those are like the kind of those finite things that you can talk about, that I talk about, that kind of hopefully will help people understand. Like, once you understand IPAs, income producing activities, and you start doing them consistently, that's when, the doors will start to open. People will have less struggle and more results, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. So you're saying more eyeballs on and making sure you market yourself. More eyeballs on you and whatever you're doing at the time. A lot of people don't know how to do that. They don't market themselves. They don't market whatever product or service they're involved with. So they fail, especially if they break that habit of doing it every day. I always say, do it every day.
Mhm.
Okay. And one of the things I'm going to basically it resonates with me as well as with you, I'm sure. When you have to have the right kind of company, people are going to look at you and see who you're with. Okay. And if you and people can research the name and they can see if that person really is somebody who can teach them. I say a lot of people are not qualified to teach you. Why are you listening to them? Okay. And number one thing is the reason why we also have you on the show here, Daniel. You like I said, you've been doing this quite a while,
Mhm.
and you have a strong track record. So I would say you are qualified. Okay, not only just basically to tell a person go this direction, do this direction, but you're a speaker, you're a coach, and I got to say, it's a lot of people out there say, "Well, Daniel, I want to look you up and see your material." And I got to tell you guys right now, on this broadcast, we're going to basically put links where you can go and if you want to have Daniel as a speaker or a coach, like I said, you got the right person you need to talk to. Daniel, tell me this. This is going to be you already said where the light bulb went off, but let's talk about those who are suffering right now. Let's talk about three big reasons why these people are suffering. What is the three big problems that you can kind of like say, hey, here it is right here, guy, and this is why you're failing. Okay, let's
Mhm.
talk about those three things, and the stage is yours again, Daniel.
Yeah, it's, I actually, I go live, whether it be on TikTok or YouTube or Facebook, and I actually talk about this specific topic all the time. And it circles back to, what you said in the beginning of, why people are struggling, why people are failing to, figure this stuff out. And first and foremost, you guys got to realize that the only way to fail in life or anything, not just making money online or building a brand or increasing your income, it's the only way to fail is to quit and give up on yourself. And then guess what? If you want to fail and you want to quit and you want to give up on yourself, then you get to be right. Congratulations. Pat yourself on the back. You can hang around the water cooler at work and talk about how right you were. And then, but that's going to fade, eventually you're still going to, wish you had done more,
So stop stopping then.
So like, we as human beings are, we're great at almost, we almost make it, we almost do it, we almost try, almost as a way of life to almost everybody in the world, so the winners do it, they find a way to break through, they find a way to break that cycle. So 3 specific things that I've found as that people use on average for excuses for, not necessarily failure, but they use them as leverage to themselves to create excuses. And I'll break each one down, right? There's 3 of them. I don't have the money. I don't have the time. I don't know how. Those are by far the most 3 common excuses that I've heard in my many, many years of doing this. So, we can break them down, right? I don't have the money. You can start an online business and have everything you need. And this is what we teach and coach with the system that I created. I don't have the money, right? Well, you can get started literally for less than $100 and you can have everything you need. All of your sales funnels, your email marketing, your content, everything you need to start promoting you, branding you, sharing your affiliate link and literally making money today. And you can do that all for, less than $100. So for someone to say that I don't have the money, it's easy to reach in and grab that excuse, but anybody, if they wanted it bad enough, and this is where it just circles back to you either want it or you don't. Decide, do it or not. Like Yoda would say, do or do not. There is no try. If you wanted to come up with $100 or even $20 for that matter, because I've had people that will tell me like, oh, I'm so broke, I don't have $20. I'm like, yeah, but I bet you have a Netflix account. I bet you have a Hulu account. I bet you just went out to eat this week. Money's just priorities, and you have to prioritize what you want. So do you want to be right and come up with excuses and validate what you're saying, or do you actually really want to do it? Because if someone wanted to come up with $20 or $40 or $100, I guarantee you there's things around your house that you could go sell. You could go mow lawns. If you're up north, you could go shovel driveways. You could go find ways to come up with $100 if you wanted it bad enough. So when you say I don't have the money, you're really just saying I don't feel like doing it. That's all it really is. It's just mindset and attitude. So that's I don't have the money. I don't have the time. You could be building a brand, gaining followers, generating leads, generating sales from your device. Almost everybody these days has a phone. And on that phone is the internet. And you could run a business from your phone, even if you don't have a laptop, even if you don't have a tablet, you don't have a desktop computer. You could run a business or affiliate marketing business or whatever it is from your phone in about an hour a day, just creating little small pieces of content and sharing them out there. As an example, the system that I created literally gives that to you, okay? And you could take those pieces of content that are already done for you and share them out there. And you could probably do that in less than an hour. So again, just mindset, attitude, deciding if you want it or not. The people that are saying, I don't have the time, again, it's just priorities. You either want it or you don't. But if you're going to use the excuse of I don't have enough time, you either A, don't realize that it does not take a lot of time, or B, you just don't want to take the time to do it because you don't want to either A, fail or realize that, oh man, this could actually work if I did it, And then the last one, which is I don't know how, is kind of my favorite excuse. It's kind of my favorite thing to talk about when people say, I just can't figure this out. Like, I don't have the time, I don't have the money. And specifically, I don't know how. Everybody has one of these. And for those of you guys that are listening, I'm holding a phone, right? Everybody has one of these. And this has access.
One or two of these. A lot of people have 2 of them now.
and this has access to the internet. And my question to them is, and my question to you listening is, if you have a phone in your hand that has access to the internet, or you have access to the internet, period, how on earth can you use the excuse in a realistic way and say you don't know how to do something? When you could literally, you have access to information on demand and you can look it up at any time. And you can literally learn how to do anything you want. You want to learn how to change a light bulb? You want to learn how to boil water? You want to learn how to cook a 7-course gourmet dinner? You want to learn how to, be a brain surgeon, whatever. I mean, maybe not all the way, but you could learn how to do almost anything online. You can go find it. You can use Google, you can use YouTube. You can learn how to make money online. You can learn how to create content. You can learn how to do TikTok marketing, Facebook marketing, Instagram marketing, YouTube marketing, anything you want to do from that device in your hand. But you're going to use the excuse because it's easier that you don't know how to do something. So again, it just circles back to you either want to do it or you don't. And one of my favorite lines ever, thank you to Jim Rohn, is if you really want to do something, you'll find a way. If you don't, you'll create an excuse. And most people would rather come up with the excuse because it's easier and they want to be validated. Yes, you're right. It's so hard. Versus if they really wanted to do it, they'd be doing it. Just like going to the gym, working out, staying healthy. If you really wanted to lose weight, you'd be losing weight, not eating pizza. So I hope that makes sense.
Yes, it does. One other thing I want to talk about. Well, actually, I'm a diamond in here real quick. Actually, I'm a quarter in here real quick. A lot of people do too much busy work. It's almost like a fear that stops them. They fear to be successful. They do busy work like, oh, I got to make sure I got this pretty color. I got to make sure, or maybe I just put this, like aside for before I even start doing it. They make up excuses, like you said, which is, of course, it's a well thought out lie they told themselves. I wouldn't believe it. But the point is, let's talk about this here, Daniel, before we conclude our conversation. I think that becoming the person you were born to be, okay, is very important. People don't know who they are. I would say take a moment and stop and think about, what is your self-worth? What do you feel that you're worth? A lot of people go to jobs and work to take care of their family because that's what we were taught since we were little kids, to get a good job, get a good education, go out there and work for somebody else. And now somebody's telling us how much we're worth an hour. Me, I'm going to tell you this, guys. You're priceless. You should be telling them to pay you how much you are worth an hour. Okay, what you value yourself at. So you got to get rid of that. Take those cobwebs off your brains there and think about, my God, there's nobody else who's like me. Okay, a lot of people go out there and see Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson, Prince, whatever, and they want to be those people. But I'm here to tell you this: they couldn't even be you if they wanted to. Be that priceless person that people are searching for you to help them with their problems. Number one, that's the number one reason I feel that, becoming the person you were born to be. Discover yourself. Okay. Daniel discovered himself. I discovered myself. A lot of the leaders you hear out there and great people in the world, Mike Tyson. Think about that for a second. I just mentioned the name, Mike Tyson. I met him a couple of times, so you guys know. He knew what he wanted. He wanted to be a fighter. But what about you? What do you want? Who are you? Okay. And guess what? No matter what happens out there in life, nobody's going to take you from you because you are you. And that's how you can discover how to be that great person that you want to be. So, Daniel, I want you to lead with something about that. Tell me about becoming the person you were born to be. Just talk about that real quick. You got a couple of minutes on that, Daniel.
Yeah, you know what it is? I think that it's people can run around in a lot of circles trying to figure out, who they want to be, what they want to do. But for me, I mean, I always like to take the simplest approach possible. And I've always circled it back to doing things that bring you joy. And, for me, creating content brings me joy. Helping others brings me joy. Creating systems on the back end that people can use on the front end and see results brings me joy. And I think in the beginning, when people are going through and they're trying to figure out how this all works, and especially when they start their online journey and they're trying to build a brand and they're trying to make sales and they're trying to figure this whole process out, like you mentioned earlier, too many people are trying to get it perfect. And that perfectness, that quest for having everything perfect inhibits action. And I want you guys to realize it, and please take this as a big takeaway here. action cures fear. And, people are so fearful of what other people think. And because of that fear, you don't take the action necessary to go do the thing, to go generate the lead, to go generate the sale, to go, put out your first blog, write your first email, do your first post, create your first piece of content, whatever it is. That fear inhibits you from, putting it out there because you're too concerned about getting it right. It's like, oh, what will the neighbors say? Like that sort of attitude where, you care too much about what other people think. And I'm not saying that you don't got to give a rat's about what other people think. Like it's just natural human behavior. We always care, but you need to let that go and think more of, stop worrying about what could go wrong and start thinking more about what could go right. And in the beginning, like I can circle all the way back to my first videos on YouTube, my first pieces of content on, whether it be TikTok or whatever, and they were horrible. They were horrible. I was literally, I remember back in the day, where I literally had a phone on a selfie stick and I was walking around recording my first piece of content for YouTube. And I literally had a string of Post-it notes taped from the bottom of my phone hanging off the selfie stick. So I kept looking at the camera and I kept looking down the notes, looking at the camera, looking down at the notes, trying to get everything just right. And I recorded one video like 57 times. And finally, I just said, screw it. And I posted it. And to this day, that video has, I don't even know how many thousands of views, but, and it was just me talking about, taking action and doing the thing. And when I just kind of said, screw it, and I just kind of shot from the hip and the video was what it was just me being natural. And it was, in my opinion, I can go back and I can look at that video, years and years and years ago and be like, man, I could have done it so much better. But the point is I just did it. And I think that's what people need to realize now is in order to become your best self, you just got to go do it. And you're going to learn as you go. As long as you don't give up on yourself, as long as you don't quit, you're never going to fail until you do that. Just keep going every single day. And last thing, I'll just mention this because this is probably the most important thing in this entire, webinar podcast here. Work harder on yourself than you do on your business.
That's
So
right.
what do I mean by that is work harder on your mindset and your attitude and your development every single day. Invest into yourself. Read good books, listen to good podcasts, listen to good audio, surround yourself with positive, like-minded, driven people, and
Yes.
invest into your own self-education and training every single day. If you do that versus watching the news and the media and being surrounded by negative people, if you invest into yourself every single day, it's not a matter of if. You can rule out the if you'll become successful, if you'll find ways to win, if this will work. It will work. You can take out the if, and then it becomes when. If you work on yourself harder than you do on your business, because all of that other stuff, all the stuff that you're living in fear of, all the stuff that you're worried about, what type of hashtags do I use? How do I got to edit this video? What are the best times to post? How do I create a blog? How do I build a website? Like all these technical things, all of that stuff will fade away in time if you work harder on yourself than you do on your business. And everything will start to take shape as long as you stay consistent and you're doing those things each and every day.
Daniel, what you just said, a lot of people say, well, God, I'm not getting sales. I'm not doing this. I'm not. Whatever you're saying to yourself is what you're going to create inside yourself. But when you're reading and studying and people are successful, you are growing inside. You may not see it at that point in the beginning, but the transformation is happening. It is happening. Okay. Mm-hmm. And like I said, the number one thing I want to leave here with my audience is
I do want to circle back on one thing too, if we have time.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Daniel,
okay, so
Daniel, 1 second before you say it. Daniel, one of the things I would say is you do have to do what other people are doing who are successful. Okay.
Success
if
leaves
you don't
clues.
put action to that, it won't happen. Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm going to say one thing. With me, okay, everybody know I have books. People read my books. And what I do when I put my knowledge into that is what I have created in my life. And that's why who I am and I'm on different talk shows, national TV broadcasts, work with billion-dollar companies. How did that even happen? Well, because I believed in myself. Okay. I'm around, my circle of influences are people like Daniel and other people that I came into name because they're not on the show, but it's not hard for you to find out who I am, my influence and friends. But I'm telling you, I didn't start, here at the top. I started somewhere and believed in myself, and that kept growing. I kept growing. And you, the audience, you have to do that. Okay. You have to find a good mentor. You have to make sure that you are listening, not just reading what they have, but studying what they have. Because words are nothing if you're going to forget them. Okay. Make sure you take notes. And 2% of what you're going to hear, you're going to forget. If you write it down, you're going to remember 60, sometimes 70% of what you're hearing. But put it on paper and study it. Okay. Go ahead, Daniel. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, I mean, those are great points, Carl. I mean, I always like to put it this way: like when you're getting started, with an online business, a blog, or whatever it is, when you're trying to do that thing to make more money, create that secondary income stream, it's as simple as this. And this is an analogy that I share with my team all the time. Your very first day on your job, whatever you do for work, whether you're a secretary, you work in retail, you're a manager, whatever it is. Your very first day on your job, brand new, day one, you just got hired and you just get there for the very first day. Do you know and understand every single aspect of your job? Your daily tasks, your reports, you're analyzing all your spreadsheets and everything. Do you understand, like, depending on your job, like, do you know and understand how to use the computer system, how to do things, invoicing, sales, all of those things? And chances are, and I would say 99.9% of the time, no, you do not know and understand every single aspect of your job on your very first day. But what happens over time? You learn it, you figure it out, you get trained on it, you stay steady. And over time, what happens over time in your job? Eventually, you get good at your job. Maybe you even get promoted to supervisor. Maybe you get promoted to manager. Maybe you move up and now you're, an assistant manager or a vice president, whatever it is. And then who knows, maybe you're the person at some point who is now training people on their first day. Well, when you're making money online or you're getting started online, it's the same exact thing. You cannot be, and this is where most people live in that fear of, I don't know how, I don't know what I'm doing. You can't be expected to know everything about what you're doing on your very first day. Give yourself some grace, stay consistent, show up to it every single day, just like you would show up to your job, because you want to get paid, right? You're going to show up to your job so you can perform the task, you can learn the task, you can get better at the task. Treat this just like a job so it can pay you better than any job you've ever had. And if you do that, again, working on yourself, showing up every single day, you're going to rule out the if, and then it just becomes when.
Yes. Daniel, you always have some wise words. And guys, that was a bonus right there. Rewind this and go back and listen. A lot of times, people pay a lot of money for certain advice. And Daniel, he charges money, and he here giving you some free advice. I call them bonus advice. So make sure you go back. Daniel, we're meeting again, and we'll be doing giving some more big amounts and some nuggets. But guys, you got to remember, knowledge is nothing if you don't apply it. Okay, it's like the wind that flew in your face and is gone. Okay, stop it, hold it, feel good about it. Okay, so Daniel, once again, thank you for coming on my show, Home Based Business Review.